Hi, welcome to another video. It's Saturday morning, I'm on the way to work. I've got a few hours of work to do, a couple of small jobs, and then I'll be carrying out a very important comparison test on Porsche 996 air intake systems. Number one, the standard air intake system. Number two, a very popular upgrade for the 996, the 997 Airbox. And number three, the Fabspeed carbon competition intake system. So when I first bought this car in 2021, I think it was around August time, I'd already penciled down a few upgrades I wanted to do. One was the exhaust system, which I imported from Germany, from FVD Brombacher. Number two was the IPD plenum, the competition plenum. Number three, the 82mm throttle body. All of those were done within a couple of months of ownership by RPM technique. Now, the very last one, it took a while. Reason being, I placed the order with Fabspeed and it literally took months to arrive, and it arrived quite recently. So today I'm going to dedicate the day to comparing the three intake systems. So join me in a short while when we'll be starting with the 996 original Airbox, and we'll go from there. Is the original 996 Airbox with the IPD cold air induction, and somewhere in here we have our snorkel, original snorkel, and the bracket, the original bracket for the air injection pump. you can see in the corner here the air injection pump. The kit comes with its own bracket, which literally moves that right back, just tucks it underneath the coolant reservoir. The only problem with that is that one lug of that bracket, I don't know if you can see it there, actually bolts up underneath the engine mounting bolt. So you have to remove the engine mounting bolt, the bracket goes there, and then you screw it back down. Now what that does, what I've found that does is, because you're not using the bushes that come with the original pump bracket, when the pump kicks in, it's really loud. You can hear it in the cabin. When you first start the car from cold, you can hear the pump going for ages, and then obviously it switches off. So that's one negative, I suppose, for this kit. They should have thought that out a little bit better. But it is what it is. So the Fabspeed carbon competition air intake fitted. Fitting, relatively straightforward. There is a step-by-step guide on the Fabspeed website on what to do. It's not rocket science, but it does save you a little bit of time. Also, there's other videos on YouTube that I've seen showing the installation, so that side of it is relatively easy. It looks amazing. It sounds amazing. So I've just come out to test it on the road, and it's absolutely pissing down with rain. So we'll take a little drive and see what I think. First impressions. Right, so the exhaust valves are now open, and I've got a bit of straight road, so I'm gonna just first impressions. It sounds absolutely awesome. There's a real bark that can be heard around 3,000 RPM. Now, Fabspeed claim 24 brake horsepower extra and 19 torque. I think it saves around 4 pounds from the original Airbox. Obviously 4 pounds ain't gonna make any difference, but I mean, the sound is absolutely awesome. I'm gonna drop down to second. Valves open. I don't know if you can hear that bark on the camera. That's with the exhaust valves open. So if I close the valves, they make a massive difference to the way this car sounds. However, let's see how the bark from the intake is going to sound. That's a huge difference. Usually the car is, even though it's quite a loud exhaust, with the valves open, with them closed, it's very tame. And all you can hear, mainly what you can hear now, is the bark from that intake. Just around 3,000 RPM. Power wise, I mean, I'm not going that quick. I'm on the public road. There is a speed limit. Once we get into the country lanes, I'll open it up a little bit and we'll see. But so far, very impressed with the sound. And it looks, I mean, the main attraction with this is the carbon fibre, right? It looks amazing on there. Can you hear just around, just working up to 2.5 to 3,000 RPM? That roar from the air intake really comes in. So we're on a nice A road, national speed limit. The valves right now are open, third gear, 3,000 RPM. You get that nice roar. 3275. Can you hear that roar? But this exhaust sounds amazing on its own. That Fabspeed air intake really enhances the sound of the exhaust. Is there a decrease in bottom end power? Initially, I have to be honest, when I first came out of the garage, the first few pulls in the car, it actually felt like there was a lot of growl and not much go. However, the ECU self-learns, so I think last 10 minutes of driving this car right now, it's fine. I think it's just adjusted itself. That's the sweet spot there, just below 3,000 RPM. You hear it there? Let's close the valves. It's a harmony. It's like the FVD Brombacher and Fabspeed Symphony Orchestra. So my verdict on the Fabspeed intake, you can't deny it looks amazing. It sounds absolutely awesome. Even with the exhaust valves closed, there's definitely an enhancement on the sound of the car. The growl you get from it around 3,000 RPM is intoxicating. And you can just hear it there. So the Fabspeed carbon intake kit has been on the car for approximately 2 weeks. Now, my original intention for this video was to do everything in one day, remove the 996 original box, fit the carbon kit, drive it, remove it, fit the 997 kit. Now, after driving the car for the first time, the first pull, there was slight hesitation between 3,000 and 4,000 RPM. There was a lot of induction bark and not much go in the car, and that worried me, because a couple of people had left comments in my previous videos where I disclosed my intention to fit this kit, and they said, oh, a friend of mine has fitted it to his car, and you know, he's lost power on the lower end. And look, I need to try these things for myself. That's what this channel is all about. We need to put these to you know, a real world test. So I ignored all that. I ordered the kit from Fabspeed. It took about 3 months to come. That's a different story altogether. So the reason I decided to keep the kit on the car for a couple of weeks is to see if that initial hesitation would clear up. I initially put that down to the communication between the mass airflow sensor and the ECU. You have to drive the car, certain adjustments will be made by the ECU to basically compensate for the amount of air that's coming in. I've taken this car on a couple of decent little runs, nowhere too far, a couple of weekends, and I have to admit it has made a great deal of difference. The car now feels more natural. That hesitation that was there initially cleared up after driving the car for a few days. So I think that was that. Now the carbon intake. Oh, hold on a minute. There's a tunnel. That was that. Can't deny a tunnel. Come on. Anyway, I digress. So we can't deny that the Fabspeed carbon intake is probably the best looking intake system out there. And there's no denying that the noise you get from it, the bark, is intoxicating. So I'm on my way to the workshop right now. I'm going to remove the Fabspeed kit, install the 997 kit, which I purchased brand new from Reading Porsche, and we'll see how we get on. We'll do another drive, and I'll give you my final verdict. Stay tuned. If anybody is interested in converting your 996 to a 997.1 Airbox, this is what you will need. This is the part number. And that's for a manual 997.1 Carrera. The 3.8, which is on the Carrera S, and the .2 cars is not a direct fit onto the 996. So with this, there you go. This kit was, last year I looked at this kit. I made a note of the price because I intended on buying it then, before I actually bought the Fabspeed kit. And this was £320 plus VAT retail. It's a complete box with the snorkel, and it comes with a genuine air filter already inside. So it's a complete kit. I've had to buy the grommets, which basically the bottom of the airbox pushes into on the body of the car. They are different from the original 996 ones. The original 996 ones are blue, they look something like that. So you need these. I suppose you could get away with using normal ones, but because the part numbers were different from the 996, I opted to get these as well. So with this kit, you have to use the 996 snorkel, which just detaches from here. It's got 3 lugs, because you want it to tally up with that trim there, okay? But I've kind of taken the chance. I want to use this box as it is. So I've purchased the 997 trim. It wasn't very expensive, but just in case it will work, I purchased that. So that basically just fits perfectly, so it all tallies up. So I'm gonna try that. Stick around to find out if that actually works. Right, so here we are. The 997 airbox is in. I have to be honest with you, it wasn't that straightforward. It was a bit of a squeeze. I don't know what the difference is here. I had to use the 996 snorkel because the 997 one literally just kept banging, squashing up against here. So it had to be done. I've read on a couple of forums that is the case, and that actually is perfect. The only issue I had, that's the 997 snorkel there. It's just, it comes out a little bit too wide. The only issue I had is that my old 996 box had the cold air induction conversion, and that was extremely difficult to get out. Once I managed to get it out, it doesn't fit onto the 997 box. That's the Fabspeed there, all back out. So this is a bracket that relocates the air pump. You see where the air pump is there? So it's way out, and this bracket literally, that what you see there goes onto the engine mounting, takes it it literally just shoves it underneath the coolant bottle. Had I used this with the 997 snorkel, it would have probably fit, but I wanted the air pump back on its original brackets, because I can't take that noise of the fan when it kicks in. It literally just vibrates against the chassis, and you can hear it really loud inside the car. So I mean, that as you can see, the 997 3.6 box is handsome. Still use my IPD induction hose, that fits directly onto that. What I need to do, this is the blanking cap that came with the airbox, basically just the protector. I'll have to seek out another plug for that, something decent. There's quite a few on the market, so I'll order something for that. Yeah, that's it. That's the 997 conversion. Now we take it out on the road and see how it drives. So I've taken the car out today with the 997 airbox fitted. I've driven it around for a few days just to let all the adjustments take place. This car was dyno tuned last year with the 996 airbox using a genuine air filter. That was perfectly adequate, and I've gotten used to driving the car with that setup. The 997 Airbox, again with a genuine filter, is not much different to the 996. If anything, it's a little bit quieter, which is not a bad thing. Power wise, no difference. Apart from the 997 Airbox being a lot more attractive, I really wouldn't bother. If it's not for looks, I'd stick with a 996 Airbox. Obviously on this particular car, the exhaust sound is the most prominent. So any intake noise is going to be dumbed down. Let's come to the Fabspeed carbon intake. When it comes to induction noise, it's top shelf, and it enhances this exhaust massively. Looks wise, already spoken about that. I don't think there's any match. I'm not here to sell the Fabspeed Airbox. It's got its negatives. The main one I've mentioned already. The fact that the air injection pump is bolted directly onto the rear panel. They don't supply any bushings for it at all. Is a put off for me. Fabspeed could have easily fabricated that bracket to accommodate some bushings, which will reduce the pump noise. Apart from that, the Fabspeed one obviously is the choice. Which one will I keep on the car? I can't go back to the 996 Airbox because my snorkel kept falling off. It had a slight crack on the side of the Airbox, which is why I started exploring different Airboxes in the first place. So now it's a choice between trying to fabricate something myself for that Fabspeed bracket, or stick with a 997 box. So that's my conclusion. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I really hope it has been some use to some of you. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel. More videos to come soon. Take care and stay safe out there.